Do it.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Woo!
Love how fast that happens.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Great. Hey, Monica.
Hello,
How you
hello.
doing, girl?
Hi, Craig. Hi, Craig. Hi,
How you
Marsha.
doing?
Hi.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
We're gonna get crazy today.
Yeah, a crazy day.
How's everyone doing today? Good?
Good.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
If you're on absolute fire today, write the word fire in the chat. Do not hesitate.
Mm-mm. Bringing extra energy today.
Yeah, I'm coming hot. Yeah, Dan. Dave Santo. Woo! Joanne. Alexandra. Yeah.
Hey, Craig.
Hey, Rach.
Hi. I hope.
Oh, wow.
My mom is in the house. Helene Siegel. Everyone write in the chat. Hi, Mom.
Hey.
Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. Woo! This is great. We're going to get started in just a minute, guys. A couple more people coming in.
That's so awesome.
Corey.
Hi, Corey.
Yeah, buddy. How you doing?
How are things, huh? You sound
Never
well.
better now that I see your face.
Hi, Sally.
Hi.
Great.
Awesome.
Got a packed house here.
Oh,
You.
I think I can mute.
Dogs are welcome. That's where we're at. 26.
Sarah. We're going to get started in just a second, guys.
Yep.
A lot of energy here today. I love it.
You guys drop in the chat where you're from. Can you drop in the chat where you are from right now?
And do not be shy.
No.
Never.
New Jersey?
How do I do that?
LA?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, nice crowd. It's great.
Is that a chair? I didn't know you own chairs.
Ohio, Vancouver, Poland.
Oh, wow.
Hi,
I see
Monica.
Uncle Stu.
Monica.
Hello.
Katie.
Hi.
Oh, I hope. I see you. Oh,
Michigan.
that's crazy.
Hey, Jess. Love the diversity.
Love it.
There she is.
Awesome, awesome,
All right, guys, we're going to start it up.
Mhm.
So we're going to discuss a lot of the things that we're going to be discussing in the mastermind, but also just some helpful tips for today for everybody, just to get everyone on absolute fire so that you leave this masterclass at an elevated state to go conquer your day. Marsha, should we mute everyone while we speak?
Pardon? Yes.
Should we mute everyone?
Yes.
Not sure how to do that.
Okay. But then, can you unmute yourself, Craig?
Can you
There.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay, worked.
Start it off, Marsha.
All right. I'm so thrilled to have all of you here today. And here's the thing. We were opening this up originally that this is the bonus call that for the people who have joined. And we have had a number of you join and we are still having conversations, which is awesome. But Craig and I are definitely of service. And there are people who have questions that we know we want to be able to answer. And we also just want to bring the collective energy back in to this space because I think if there's anything that we off of just being almost a year of where we have all come through in this past year with a lot of change and a lot of things that have happened. We really want to touch on some of the tips or tricks and things that we did in this past year that helped to create change in our life. And when times are challenging, when there's a lot of unknown and uncertainty going on, which just so everyone knows is always, there's never a time of like perfect certainty of things to happen, that we wanted to bring this in so that we can answer some questions for you, maybe share some of the things that we came through this past year, because we didn't realize that at first, but I mean, I've been doing this as a little side hustle for a while. And it wasn't until the pandemic happened that I went, okay, I'm all in. Like now I'm all in. So we're going to make this work. And as Craig and I had some of our first conversations, we realized that we pretty much did this at the same time. And so we've come through a lot of different learning curves and learning experiences. And there's something really beautiful about what we are doing here to connect and collaborate together to bring to you guys. So we wanted to come back on and be of service and offer some value for you today.
Yeah. And also love everything that you said, Marsha. Love you. And look, and I'm going to say this as humbly as I possibly can, because obviously everyone here has a connection to us. So don't take this the wrong way. Do me and Marsha need to do a joint collaboration? No, we don't. Both of us are thriving in our individual businesses, but we saw an opportunity that the market just doesn't have right now. And that's both of our dynamics and what we both bring to the table. And, you know, as you can tell from like the investment standpoint, it's not a ton of money. We just want to help and we want to get everybody on fire, because at the end of the day, a year ago this time, I wasn't happy. I was going to work every single day. Wasn't exactly changing the world. Wasn't exactly doing anything that lit my soul on fire. And, you know, for me, the pandemic gave me a moment to just kind of assess my situation. And the truth of the matter is I had to really dig deep and be honest with myself. I didn't love the direction I was going to. And I had to ask myself the tough question, look myself in the mirror and said, do I want to wake up 6 months from now still doing what I'm doing? And the answer is hell no. And so I made a decision that I was going to do something different. Let me be very clear. How did I create this much change? I decided to. Every single person here today, you decided to show up because obviously you can use a little bit more in your life. There's something that you can work on, myself included, and Marsha. All of us can enhance our life in some way. So I made that decision a year ago that I wanted to do something different. Okay. I didn't exactly know how it was going to unfold. And that's the beauty of, as Marsha likes to say, taking messy action. But I did know that I did not want to keep going the path I was doing. So for me, the pandemic opened up a window for me to really dig deep. I imagine most of you on this call here today have an idea that you'd like to pursue, or something of that nature, a relationship, something that you'd like to improve upon. Here's the best part. There's nothing that I have or that Marsha has that says that we could do what we did over the last 10 months and blow up our businesses from scratch and make money out of thin air that you guys don't. It comes down to making a decision. Are you going to bet on yourself, or are you going to continue being complacent and living in this bubble and then waking up 10 years from now with regret? The choice is yours. Once you make the decision that you want a little bit more, you want to gain some clarity, and you want to go all in, that's why we created this mastermind, to put together the strategies, to build upon our confidence, to revamp our mindset, to own our stories, and so forth. But we're going to challenge you guys here today. You have to make the decision that you want some change, because you can go to all these masterclasses that we offer for free. You can go to a Tony Robbins seminar. You can read 100 books. If you don't decide that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, or that you want to take action, nothing's going to change. Does that make sense to you guys? Drop a yes in the chat. Good. Love that.
He said he would challenge you, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys, that's where growth comes from, is that challenge, is that, and really all he's trying to do is challenge you to challenge yourself. That's it. Like, he's trying to get you to challenge yourself. So I would love to piggyback on that and ask you to decide, put in the comments, what is something that you are here to create, that you want to create change in, you want to offer, you want to put out into the world. Say it and declare it. what it is that you want to create, like what that is, because that gets really scary in this. It gets really scary, but if you don't say it, it's not real. You want to breathe it into reality is what you're doing. Here's the thing. We make decisions based on all of the information we have. Which is literally all from our past, all of it. So all of our thoughts come from our past. Now it's about making a decision to what we are creating in the future, right? What are we creating in the future? What are we going to do in the future? What's that going to look like? That's where the decision comes from. So I love some of these answers. This is awesome. This is so awesome. Why I feel this is so important is because what most of us don't see is, or don't recognize, is that we are an expert. We are already experts. All of us are, of what we have lived through, the lessons that we've learned, how we can share that, and what we can do out in the world with that. Learning how to cultivate that, pull those lessons out, and launch it the way that we have is what we want to help you to do. And it's also, the beautiful thing is going to be the collective of the people that are going to be in this space to also keep you accountable to do the same.
Yeah. And a lot of you like that I've worked with or spoken to in the past, a lot of you don't believe that like you have a story to tell. I couldn't disagree more. Every single one of you have been through some stuff. You all have gifts to share with this world. You have your own testimonials. You've all been through something special and unique that nobody else has. Some of them very deep. Some of them are living inside your story and so forth. Here's the thing. You do have something to offer. You are worthy. Okay. This was the first thing that got into my head when I decided I was going to start CLS is, but who's going to want to listen to me? Then I answered my own question. I started listing the testimonials that I've done, the things that I've went through, the things that I've learned, and so forth. And then I realized I do have a lot to offer. And even if I put out some content and I help just one person do something different or go a different route or inspire them, then I'm okay with that. Obviously, I was consistent with it. It built traction and the rest is history. But let me just say right off the bat, you absolutely do have a story to tell. You are 100% worthy, but you have to believe that in your heart of hearts. Like you have to feel that. Because if you don't believe that, then no one else is going to believe you. You might as well just go back to what you're doing, hop off this call right now, and just live in mediocrity. But if you're going to make a change, then own the fact that you are special, you are unique, you are amazing, you are worthy, and you do have an opportunity for people to learn from you.
There you go.
I said I was going to come in hot today.
You did. That's awesome. So I want you, I'm looking at these responses from you guys. This is awesome. I see a lot of really heart-centered people, entrepreneurs in this space. I do. I see a lot of them. And I love that. Absolutely love that. So I want to know, and just be honest with yourself and with all of us, what's holding you back? Like what's holding you back? Be honest. What is holding you back? What's stopping you?
Yeah, this is a safe container, guys. So please.
Very safe, totally safe. Yeah, because again, just like your goals, you want to call out what is holding you back. Oh, Patrice, I love you. I love it.
I see a couple.
Yeah.
I saw Alex, you wrote fear. Okay. Mm-hmm. Fear of stepping into the unknown can be scary, but you know what's even scarier? Continuing the path that you're going down and not taking that shot and living with regret. That's got to be the scariest thing for you. Mm-hmm. And once you acknowledge that, all of a sudden taking that swing and exposing your story and being vulnerable doesn't seem so scary. Now all of a sudden that's pleasurable because you consider the alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fear of staying where I am. Holding back are parts of my story are messing and appalling to share. I can't pinpoint what you want to pursue. That's another great question. There's some really good questions in here. So we're going to do our best to also pick up the questions. And if your question gets lost in the chat and you want it answered, like put it back in again. Pinpoint and what to pursue. I think that a lot of people can relate to this question here because it feels like, okay, there's so many different things that I want to do. Like you have to pick the thing that I always say, pick somewhere that you can start. That's actually easy. Like start with something. So if it is, you are looking to say you want to start a coaching business, be clear on what transformation you can provide for your clients. Be clear on what it is that you want to offer, but pick one thing and start. It takes time to build different parts of your business, but you have to start with one. The problem is we look at, I think the quote is, it's like if you chase 10 rabbits, you don't catch anything. Like you have to start with one and put your focus and go all in.
Yeah. And also, like, Tamara, I love you so much. You wrote Finding My Direction. We need to find like what gravitates towards you the most of the things, and then we start building. And listen, if we pivot in a little bit because you realize, actually, I feel a little bit more connected to this aspect, then we do so. But we only know that by learning and by taking that messy action. That's perfectly okay. And I'll give you guys an example. When I started CLS, I didn't know if I wanted to focus on fitness, the mindset, public speaking, or helping people start a business, because I've been successful at that. I was all over the place. And so I started putting out content. And then after about a week, I was like, the mindset is really my thing. That's what I've always been obsessed with. And that's what I believe I'm going to be able to help people with the most. In addition, I also believe the mindset will lead to every other branch. So, but I was willing to take that messy action and kind of see what I gravitated towards.
Mm-hmm.
And also, real quickly, Joelle, I saw you wrote something and I wanted to answer it. Self-doubt. My man, you're on fire in our mastermind group. Every single time you speak, you command the room. Everyone looks to you as an authority figure. You're crushing it. You've come so far. Look at you right now at the gym with your bandana on, just a true badass. From the Joelle that I started with 3 months ago, you're flying right now. So the self-doubt should be minimized. Every day that you continue to spread your wings, a little bit less doubt should be there. Because, I mean, and in our group chat with the mastermind, like, everyone can tell you, like, your transformation is unbelievable. So the wind is at your back now. Now it's a matter of continuing on the path and spreading your wings and keep reaching higher. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on fire and you can't be stopped.
Oh, I love that. So good. And you know what? Just to piggyback on that too, self-doubt, it's part of the game. It's just part of the game. It doesn't go away. Like, these things don't go away. They always say, like, new levels, new devils. It doesn't go away. You learn to recognize it and navigate through it. It's like, oh, there it is again. That's just part of my ego's trying to keep me safe, trying to keep me in a spot, but I'm good. So you learn little mantras with how to handle those challenges. And it's not a case of pushing it away and resisting it. Sometimes I recognize it. I call it a teammate. My fear, my self-doubt's a teammate. My fear is a teammate. It's just part of the team. It's there. And it's learning to work with it because it doesn't actually go away.
Also, a buddy of mine is in this room, and like, I know that you're so close to just breaking out and flying and taking the world on, but you're having this difficult time letting go of what you know you need to let go of. And you are clear of it. It's just a matter of doing it and ripping the Band-Aid off, so to speak. And I urge you to take this approach. Not to sound too deep, the pandemic showed me that tomorrow's not guaranteed. You have to make every single second count. And not talking religion, right? There's no sequel. Like, we're not really coming back. We get one shot at this. So, I mean, look, picture yourself at your own funeral, as I like to say, a couple months down the road. What would people say about you? Sure, all of us here, I'm sure, have made a great impact on their family or some close friends, and that's fantastic. But what about the impact that you're capable of making on the world, of showing your gifts? And as Marsha likes to say, if you're not taking that shine, if you're not showing your gifts, and you're being selfish, because you do have a voice, and you never know how far you can take this thing until you start trying. And once you make that tough decision, trust me, the universe is listening. The seas will begin to part, but it is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get to second base with your foot still on first. I'm not saying if you want to start a passion project, quit your 9 to 5, because the truth of the matter is 9 to 5 will pay the bills and the empires will be built from 6 to 12. But you have to take that first step in the action to build that empire, that passion project. And then sooner than later, you'll end up leaving the 9 to 5 full time. But You're just going to get back in these master classes, back in a Tony Robbins seminar until you decide that enough is enough. You have to want it badly. And if I'm not like getting through to you right now, then you don't want it bad enough. But if I'm making you feel some type of way, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If his words are kind of getting under your skin and triggering a little bit, it's probably something that needs to be triggered. It probably is something that needs to open up. I want to share too that somebody asked that and I saw it and went by fast, but you don't know exactly where to start. When I first started, I felt the pull and nudge to start a podcast and write my book. I had so many people say to me, but that's not going to pay the bills. That's not going to make money. That's not going to do. But I was like, I don't know. I think this is my gut. This is what I have to do. That podcast that I started with the messiest action, honestly, has brought some of the most incredible people into my life. And I'm beyond grateful for it. As I grew myself, my business grew. So a lot of people jump in and try and build the business first without doing the work on themselves. And I'm sorry, any entrepreneur that I know, like you are your business. You are your business 100 times over. So one of the other reasons why we've come together is because I know myself, I can say in the beginning, I tried to do a lot of it myself. I did. I tried to do a lot of it myself. I tried to figure it out myself and do it on my own. And from what I know now, I am so passionate about being in groups and masterminds and connecting with other people because that is such an easier way to do it. It's such an easier way to do it than to do it on your own.
Yeah. And look, let me be clear with that also, just to piggyback off what Marsha said. Like, I used to have a little bit of an ego, like I could do everything myself until I put that aside and like started building my team with CLS. Then it really started to explode because you can't do everything yourself. And also, like, when I started my first mastermind, which is still going on, we have our call tonight. It was one of the coolest experiences of my entire life. And maybe most of you didn't know this, but like when I did the mastermind, it's obviously to form a small intimate container, get everyone on fire, hold everyone accountable. But it also forced me to elevate my game and raise my energy to a whole nother stratosphere, because I knew these family members in my mastermind were looking at me as their leader. And it's like, I have to lead by example. So even though like they may not necessarily know this, but having them there gives me radical accountability because I know I have to take it up another notch because all these family members are counting on me to deliver. So I need to push the envelope. I need to wake up a little bit early. I need to work a little bit harder and make things happen because the mastermind is watching. And that's a beautiful thing because it's great to have accountability. I know a lot of us could wake up, not hit snooze, work out, start a passion project, go to work, do all the things. But when there's someone there holding you accountable or someone that's going to ask you, what did you get done today? It makes a big difference. And it's something that I recently learned and I can't stress it enough.
100%. 100%. I'm 11 some of these answers. So as we come through and, okay, I'm just going back through. All right. So as we go through, one of the things that keeps coming up in questions that we're getting is the things that we are going to be covering. So in a true mastermind format, there is coaching, teaching, and connection and collaboration. So in this container, what we want to see is people who really want to support each other, want to lift each other up, want to connect and collaborate to help each other get there. Because again, right, the rising tide lifts all ships. That's what we're looking for. That is the people that, and I've seen some of the names that have come through already. That's exactly what they're here to do. So that's what we want in this container, is really helping you to pull the lessons out of your story, own your mindset, like own that mindset, what is holding you back, and then learn how to authentically show up to continue to build that business and connect and collaborate with each other to help others to do the same.
Yeah. And also two quick things. Number one, I know a lot of you guys want to do something. You're prepared to take action, but you're just not sure where to pinpoint and get the direction. That's something that Marsha is really good at. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to collaborate with her, because like I said, I push my ego aside. She brings an unbelievable dynamic on having to hone in on what your true gifts are based upon your story, and then start attacking in regards to that specifically and making that your thing. And also, I'm going to ask a challenging question right now to all of you that want to do something. What happens if you don't do anything right now? What happens if you don't say yes? 6 months from now, same story. Like, what does that leave you mentally? How does that shape your mindset? Rachel wrote sadness. Dave, nothing changes. Defeated, regret. See, I asked this question and the answers come flooding in because this is very real for a lot of you. And that's good. This is good. Because you're in the right place right now. Frustration, yes. Once we begin, the seeds begin to part. Marsha, what are you going to say?
No, what I want to say is, as you're reading through, for each of you, as you're reading through these words that Craig has prompted you to think through, who doesn't want to carry this anymore? Like, who is done carrying the regret, frustration, pain, struggle? Like, honest to God, I'm like, guilt, all of these things. They're incredibly heavy emotions to carry, They're weighing you down. Like, they're weighing you down and they're stopping you from moving forward. So if you're done carrying them, honestly, say done.
This engagement is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
You guys are great. And I appreciate you guys all being so vulnerable and pulling back the curtain here today. Let me give you just a quick little NLP lesson real quick. So when I was about to start CLS, I knew that I had a stable job, so to speak, because I'm the owner. But I also said to myself that I don't care how much money that could provide me because I was done. Like, mentally, I was checked out. So I made it so real that I said that if I don't take a shot at the CLS thing, now that I have the idea, because I didn't have an idea like this for 10 years. Like I said, it came to me with the pandemic because I just finally had a moment. But I have been sharpening the axe, I like to say, for 10 years. I've been obsessed with personal development. But once I got the idea, I just had a little idea in my head. I said to myself, if I don't run with this and I acknowledge it and don't, that to me is death. Because, like, shame on me. I'm not even going to take a swing. Like, I'm so grateful to be alive. I have an opportunity and I just thought of this idea. If I don't take a shot at it, like, that's death to me. And by associating no action with death, to me, there was no choice. Right away, put out a video, told the world was out at what I was about to do. And let me just be clear. For those of you who do know me very well, a year ago, I had zero social media presence. I was an introvert. I was never on social media. But once I established that not taking action and running with this unbelievable potential, the idea, it was death. I took that shot. I put out the video. I got accountability from the world. I started to pick up momentum, got my first client. Imagine the confidence that gives you. Once you launch your program the first day and someone's knocking at your door because they believe in your gifts and they want to work with you. After that, forget about it. We're off to the races. That's all it takes. But you'll never know unless you take that shot. Just to be clear, this doesn't only apply to someone that wants to be a coach. It applies in all areas of life, whatever it is that you want to do that might be different than what you're doing now.
Oh, so good. So good. You started last year with 400 followers.
I don't even know if I had 400.
I love it.
If I'm being honest.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think the thing that's like, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this because he doesn't know I'm going to say this. It's true, is that it's not about the number of followers, right? Because we all know you can have somebody who has 100,000 followers and zero engagement. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone have as engaged community as what Craig has, like what you guys have created with CLS. I really don't. So the numbers, right? Like, don't look at, it's like what he's creating, what we're creating. It's the fact that, like, we all start somewhere. But it is, if there's anybody that I know that has created community, it is 100% Craig and CLS, what they've done. 100%.
Yeah, drop a CLS in the comments. You're part of the CLS fam. Woo! Let's go. I love you guys so much. This is just the beginning of this movement. What I want to do now is just give everything that I've created to you guys so that you guys can all take off at light speed and learn from everything that I did to your own path. And then it's not, I know this is a trendy word, ripple effect, but like, we all fly together. That's all Marsha and I want, is for us all to fly. That's it.
Yeah, here's the thing, and we chatted about it earlier. But what I want you to know is that we are here to share everything that we have come through in order to facilitate your growth. Like we want you to, like, you guys are you're the key that we want to shine here. Like it's what you're doing, what you're creating. Because when you start to find a way to tap into your story, what you've learned, what you're the expert of, honestly, that is something that you can't fail at. You can't fail at being you when you learn how to do that. You just can't. So one of the first questions I ask a lot of my clients is, if I asked you to stand up today with no notes, what is something you know better than anyone else that you could talk about, that you could share? What is that? You can't fail at being you. You absolutely can't. You can't. We are too afraid to do it, but guess what? The world wants to see you. We want real. We're craving real now, honestly. So what is something that you could stand up and talk about without any notes? Because you do know it. I didn't say you're going to fumble your way through life. You're going to fumble your way through figuring it out. But what is something you can share? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Fire walking.
Nancy. Yes.
Overcoming grief. Oh, I love that. Stopping hiding. Telling people stories, taking action, breaking the wheel.
Wow, this audience is on fire today with the engagement. Love it. Thank you all for showing up the way you are today. You guys are inspiring me.
Mm-hmm. Mindset, overcoming sadness, helping widows. I love it. Showing that. Yeah, personal experience. Can I give a little, I just want to give a little synopsis when I talk about stories, because this is not something that everybody always understands or can see. When we live in our story, okay, and we've all done this, we've all done this. When we live in our story, that is the time when we are replaying everything over and over. We're replaying all of the scenarios, the what ifs, the what if I did this, all of these things. So in that space, we are a little bit of a victim. And I can only say that because I was a victim for a long time. I understand that space. But learning how to pull the lessons out and understand what you can share with others so easily because it's who you are, that is when you go from standing in your story to standing on your story. If you want to know where your personal power is, it is not in the story. It's on the story. So people say to me all the time, well, how do I share without hurting someone else? Without reliving that story all of the time? How do I do that? You learn how to pull those lessons out and you learn to understand, I want this to land. Your story has made you who you are. It's made you who you are. Okay. It's made you the beautiful, incredible human that you are. So resisting it and fighting it is not the answer. Learning to embrace those lessons and be able to stand on your story, that is where your power is. Honestly, that is where your personal power is. And you can learn to do that in a way that is very respectful to anyone else that's part of your story, because this is about you. It's all about you. And when we can learn how to speak into that, honestly, that is how others find us. That is because they can hear us. So it's not always the story. It's what did we learn from the story? What did we experience? What are the emotions we went through? How can we speak into that? Because that's how we relate to one another. Does that help? Because I know that was some of the questions that came to me.
Yeah. And Marsha helped me personally with a lot of this stuff. Like, yeah, when I started CLS, I had a great energy. I was on fire, this, that, and the other thing. But Marsha helped me really add and peel back some layers on my story, like living with Crohn's disease and never really publicly talking about that, and some other things, like being so unfulfilled at a past job, and like getting out of a relationship, and obviously my dad getting diagnosed with cancer, all this stuff. And as I started to talk about it more with the audience, two things happened. Number one, I felt liberated. I felt like more shackles are being removed. And number two, even better, I was reaching more of an audience. I was speaking to other people's souls because other people were going through something similar. Just opens up everything. So thank you, Marsha, for helping me with that as well.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. So I want to know what questions you have that we can answer for you. If you have some specific questions, maybe it's a block, maybe it is something that you are trying to figure out how to work through. Again, very safe container. Just we are here to serve you and to help you through any of the blocks that you might be having right now.
Yeah. And also in regards to business strategy and plan execution, that's all going to be included.
Yep.
That's easy because we just did it. So, and respectfully, that's simple.
Yep.
Another thing that, in my opinion, is the key to life is to build your confidence. Because when you have that confidence by revamping your mindset, then it's not what can I do, it's what can I do. Then everything changes. So that's one of the other things that we really dive into, and we're going to go even further in this mastermind, is how to develop that unshakable confidence, invincible mindset, a bulletproof mindset, because from then you'll try anything and there'll be nothing holding us back. So confidence is a big thing as well. I'm glad you brought that up, Sarah. But guys, ask some questions. Let's get a little weird. Ask us anything. We're an open book right now.
Okay, book, blog, podcast, lives. How do you know where to start? There is no perfect way to start. You definitely just have to pick one and choose it. If you have not, just example, Hope, if you have not been in a space of doing lives or putting yourself in that position, that's a great way to start in order to find your voice. Is you won't find your voice until you start using it. You won't find your intuition until you start using it. You will have to get into that space of trying and putting yourself out there. And can I also say, not be attached to the outcome, because you're not failing. If you're trying something and you're like, that doesn't feel right, or that's not for me, you're not failing. You're not. You're trying, and it's all good. So that would be the first thing that I would say, is picking one, the one that calls to you the most. There is one. There's one that calls to you the most. That's where I would start.
A couple great questions I want Marsha to answer personally, but first I want to say this. If this doesn't hit home, I don't know what will. There is a difference between failing and being a failure, okay? Failing means you're trying different things. We're getting this going. We're going to figure out what doesn't work. And most importantly, we're going to figure out what does work and start to fly. A failure is the person that stands at the plate and doesn't even take a swing and just watches life, just pass them by. That's the difference. There's nothing wrong with failing, because we all get knocked down and we always learn from those experiences. That's actually what shape us. That's okay. I want you to associate pleasure with falling down, because we will get back up. We'll figure out what works. The only thing that you should associate with death is not even taking that swing. That's a failure. Couple great questions, Marsha. I'd love to hear your perspective on Donna and Corey at the bottom.
Donna and Corey at the bottom. So how do you figure out how to block out negative, toxic people in your life?
Great question.
Love this one. I love this one. So as you allow yourself to grow, you will grow and change, and your circle will change. You are not leaving people behind. People can choose to step forward too. So that's the first thing. Second, toxic and negative people, they're everywhere. Like, they're not going away. They're everywhere. So learning, going back to you or your business, learning how to handle and respond. So I have been in this space multiple times in my life, still have many people that when I'm around them, I just have to learn how I respond is everything. So I just did a podcast on your reaction your reaction is what is holding us back. So those people will be there, learning to find ways to react to them and not react, if that's the answer. And sometimes it's that, thanks for your opinion. That's it.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing, I'm good. It's all good.
And you choose if you want to give someone any emotion or not. Like for me, like I don't have that many negative people in my life right now, because I've done so much work the past 10 months to eliminate them. But if I do come across someone and they say something that would typically rub me the wrong way, I look at them, I smile, and I just say, I love you so much. And in my head, I'm like, all right, and I'll say something weird in my head, and then I'll just make myself laugh, and I just keep doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I choose to not give them any emotion anymore, because if I do, the joke's on me. Marsha, can you answer Corey's question? How do you approach a business decision that will likely ruin a personal relationship / friendship?
These are
juicy, Corey. Woo!
How do you approach a business decision? Okay. I can share, I don't know the whole circumstances of your question there. I can share, I was in a business, a brick and mortar business that I owned with two friends, and it went downhill, and I struggled for, I'm going to be honest, probably 2 years. I wanted out and I didn't know how to get out. And they were good friends and lived directly across the street from me. And then at one point, all I could think about is that no one is going to come in and fix this for me. I have to decide what is working, and everything in my body, my energy, my life, my health was saying, get out, get out, get out, get out. And when we have to make difficult decisions about like this, that can involve business or relationship, it's really important that you speak from your own perspective. You are never saying like, it's because of you and how you're acting that I want to. I remember walking in saying, I'm doing this for me. This is what's best for me. And this is, I have to honor this. And then let it go. So doing that and speaking from your own perspective and not blaming someone else, but owning why it's the best decision for you is the first thing. And second thing is not being attached to the outcome, like not being attached to the outcome. If you are living in intention and speaking, like speaking from the heart, being as kind as possible, saying it with love, but doing what is best for you, you still can't control how other people will respond or react to your decisions. You still don't have any control over that. But not making the decision because of someone else, it's not going to take long before that infects all areas of your life.
And also, if that relationship is holding you back from really sharing your gifts with the world, which I could personally tell you, I'm your biggest fan on planet Earth, and you do have so much to offer, then you're actually being selfish.
I love that. You know, I love that. It's just, again, say it with love, but it's true. It's absolutely true. When I remember I put that, here's the thing. I want you all to think about one decision that all of you had to make or that you chose to make. And it was one that you thought about for so long and you just like brewed and thought about it over and over again. And then when you finally made the decision, you're like, oh my, thank God that's done. Like that just felt so good. Why did I wait so long? It took me 2 years to make that decision. And the second it was done, every cell in my body was like, oh, that feels amazing. Like, why did I do that? So we do that. We hold on to some of those decisions because you know what? I say it with love. We are trying to play out every single possible scenario that could happen from the decision that we're going to make. And we still don't have control of any of this stuff. We have control with how we show up and how we interact and what we do. It's all on us. It's what we do.
Yeah. And let me just say this. The last relationship I was in was a long one, and I have nothing but love for her. And I want only the best for her. But I also acknowledge that if we didn't go our separate ways, CLS would have never been born, because I'm trying to say this as nice as I can. She's like, her energy being there, and I'm equal to blame. It just wasn't a good fit for anybody. And I wasn't really able to move forward. But as soon as we split our ways, all of a sudden the clarity came to me, ideas came to me. My energy was like precise and positive. And then CLS was born, it took off. I don't think that's a coincidence.
No, it's not a coincidence. It's not. And here's the thing too. I want you guys to know, right? People come into our life for seasons, reasons, and lifetimes. They really do. They really do. Not every single person you have met is going to be in your life forever. So if seasons, reasons, or lifetimes, sometimes they come in to teach us something. Like we are meant to learn something from them. And sometimes they come in for just a small period of time in our life. And sometimes they're here for a lifetime. So when I meet a person that can trigger me or can push my buttons, sometimes I'm like, what are they trying to teach me? Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? It's about me. It's about me learning what they are here to try and teach me. Instead of looking at it with anger or resentment towards them, what am I here to learn? What am I here to do with that? Because I can't control that person. I have no control of that person. The only control I have is over myself, and that's it.
Dan, I saw you copy and paste the same question from earlier. Craig, what were you like in college? And if you could go back in time, what's something specific that you would say to that young man to give him an edge moving forward? In college, I would say immature. I didn't really have direction, and I was having fun. I didn't know. So if I can go back and give that kid one piece of advice, I'd say find a mentor who's doing things that you'd like to be doing, pick his or her brain and stick with them, and you'll fly earlier and faster than anyone else that you know. Because once I started getting a mentor right after college and started studying NLP and the mindset, that's when everything clicked to me. And I would even say that's when I became a grown man and started to like acknowledge like direction and what I wanted to do with my life and what was possible for me. But up until I asked for support, I was lost in the wilderness with no compass. So if you have the ability to surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are here today, that's the biggest difference maker that you can make. And that's the one thing that I would suggest to my younger self as well, to find that type of guidance at an earlier age.
I have a question for you, Craig. This is a good question, Kim. How do you know if something you want to keep pursuing isn't appearing to go somewhere? How do you know whether you should keep trying or maybe it's not the right path for you?
Yeah. So great question. And these days, like, what's the trendiest word? Pivot, right? And a lot of people want to pivot too early. And, you know, I suggest to them, maybe we just need to reassess and find out, why is this not working? And then how can we make it work? Where do we want this thing to go? And what are the potential obstacles that are not only here now, but could arise in the future? And then how would we handle those on our way to the vision? And once you put that down on paper, it's one of the modules that I teach in my program. I call Project Moonshot. It's an NLP technique and exercise. It's very specific and it's brilliant, for lack of better words. And that can really help you find out if what you're doing is the right path and we just need to make some adjustments, or if it's actually time to pivot and go into a different direction. And you can hit me up after this on the side, and I'd be glad to go over it a little bit with you just to give you some clarity on that. No problem, Kim.
I love it. I see another one there. Where did it go? How did you guys grow your business? You know what? I'm going to go with messy action, showing up consistently, seeing the bigger picture, knowing. When I was able to shift from thinking about me to thinking about what could I do with this? How could I help someone else? And connecting and meeting with people. Like just this past weekend, I had a conversation with somebody from Poland and somebody from Sweden. Seriously, like it's just, there are people everywhere and it's beautiful. So I would say messy action and consistently showing up, because I know that there's more to do.
Yeah. And also, this is going to sound a little weird. Take it how you want it. How did I grow my business? Because I decided to. That's simple. I made a decision. I didn't want to go back to what I was doing. I was going to make this work. I felt a passion to it. And then I started taking pen to paper and I put together strategies. And that's what I want to give to all of you for anything that you are looking to launch or anything of that nature. Give you all the strategies that I know worked. More importantly, minimize the ones that didn't. But again, and this is how we started today's masterclass, it's going to come down to a decision. And if you decide that you're ready to rock and make some moves, you'll be surprised how quickly the seas part. But until you decide that, like in your heart of hearts, then you're going back on that hamster wheel. And it's not really that much fun. Trust me, I've been there.
You got to get tired of that story. You got to get tired of that wheel. There has to come a point where you just get tired of the wheel. Yeah. Awesome. 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 So if you look at it now and you think back to the first thing that you wrote down earlier of what was holding you back, what's actually holding you back? What is actually holding you back right now? From creating change, from creating the business that you want, the life that you want. Yeah.
Well, Joannica, respectfully, no, because you're joining the mastermind, so you are taking action. I couldn't be more proud of you.
Nice.
Christina wrote perseverance.
Love it. I love it. So you will definitely get, we are here to give you everything that we have come through in order to create this change, as well as strategies, accountability, pushing, like, let's get this going. Let's get this going and create this. I think if anything, like if you go back to, not to pull that into the conversation, there was a lot of talk last year that we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I know a lot of people that just waited. They just waited and waited. And they're like, why are you doing so much? Why are you trying so much? I'm like, because this is a window. This is a window of time that I can start to try and do something. So ask yourself if you're okay with waiting. And of course, I look down and see procrastination. It's all good. It's all good.
Junior with a good question, Marsha.
What techniques do you finger point your why that will self-motivate you to crush your goals? Whew, that's a big one. Okay, so moving forward, when you're thinking about what that is, you've got to go internal and ask, like, what is it that lights the fire? What is it that makes the difference for you? Like, what is it that fuels you? So when I first started sharing my story, it did help me to heal. There's no question. That was a big part of it, was teaching me and helping me to heal. But every time a total stranger came up and said, or they sent me a message or a DM and they said, I could so relate and I could see myself in your story, that became fuel. That became fuel that, okay, so this, you mean total strangers this is landing with? So I should actually keep going. This feels good. And I focus on that. What was my first aha moment that fueled my fire? I would say, so a lot of you, maybe all of you don't know my story. I'll be really brief here. I was a parent who dealt with teen substance abuse. I hid in shame for a long time. People were very critical of us. Our story was scary for a lot of people. It was scary for us. And I hid in shame for a number of years and tried to put on the picture that everything was, it's all good and I can do this. I can do this. I can fight this on my own. And eventually I did end up pretty much alone. And I had to learn in order to change that. I ended up getting into a group and through counseling and realizing that, oh, this wasn't just me that was affected by this. This was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of families. All of a sudden, when I realized that I wasn't alone. See, a lot of us think that we're alone in our struggles, and this is because we're not talking. We're not talking, we're not sharing. And so we feel that we are alone. And that is when I started to realize that, and I started to share a little bit of myself, my journey, and do that respectfully to everybody else who was involved. People that I didn't know started reaching out to me and connecting and coaching and sharing my stuff, that it was like, oh, this is affecting a lot of people. And now it's not even so much about the story. It's about what I learned to work through in order to get to this point. It became a fuel. Was it scary? Was it scary to share myself? 1,000% it was scary. But you know what was scarier? It was doing nothing. I was scarier to do nothing. It really was. It got scarier to stay in that space because that space was suffocating. I didn't want to live there anymore. So I just chose to move forward.
Yeah, and not to sound, again, too deep, but I told you I was in rare form today. If you guys just heard what Marsha said and that hit home, and obviously you're fired up after this call, but then you just go back to doing what you were doing, and tomorrow you wake up like it's Groundhog's Day and don't take any action, then you're actually okay with being miserable and like being okay with not being okay. And that's a dangerous place to be because the world is going to pass you by. And you need to get to that point where you create a sense of urgency for yourself. Like, it's showtime. Like, I'm going to make a mark in this world. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to do something special. I'm going to open myself up for a relationship. I'm going to change career paths. I'm going to do something that fuels my fire, have a lot of fun, and create a new life for myself. But if you're not there yet and you keep coming to all these free masterclasses, then you just don't want it that bad. And I ask you, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself and be true. Like, how bad do you want it? Do you just want to talk about doing cool stuff and changing your life and making a lot more money and doing all these things? Or do you want to actually do it? Why not you?
There's no reason. There's no reason. None. There's no reason. Yeah. Once you get the focus off yourself, honestly, Hope, that's perfect. That is a great way to get past the fear. When I realized, and I had a counselor say to me, did you ever wonder, like, you went through this with both of your kids. Did you ever wonder that maybe you're supposed to do something with this? Maybe this actually happened exactly the way it was supposed to. And that was a big aha that I was like, okay, that's all right. So what do I do? How do I do this? And when I started, nobody was talking about shame stories and difficult things. Brene Brown was one of the only ones at that time that I could hear and latch onto. So it was messy. It was really messy in the beginning. It really was, but worth it. 100% worth it.
Yeah. And we still have a couple more minutes left, but I want you guys to really hone in on this once the call is over for the rest of the day. Feel free to hit me up or Marsha. We don't bite. We love all of you. We just want to see everyone fly, but really digest on this for the rest of the day. What if you don't join the mastermind? Or what if you don't take action whatever it is that you're trying to do? What if you don't make any adjustments? What's the answer to that? What if you don't? And you don't have to answer that right now. We can coordinate a little bit later. Send me a DM, a message, whatever the case may be. But that's really what I want you guys to take with you. What happens if you don't take some action? Because I asked myself that same question a year ago, and then I made a decision, and I completely changed the course of my life. And as you can see, a lot can happen in a short time once you get aligned and begin to take action.
A lot. I do want to ask, if you didn't sign up for the original masterclass, then would you be okay with sending your email to Jessica? Because I want to make sure we can still be able to reach and connect and not miss anybody. Because I did get some messages this morning that somehow a few people were missed from our group. So I apologize if you got missed. But if yes, thank you. Because I want to make sure that we can still reach you.
And also, some of you that don't know what the mastermind is, it's weekly Zoom calls like this, but also interacting with each other, becoming a family, supporting each other, and so forth. We're going to go over different concepts such as the mindset, how to build confidence, how to get rid of your insecurities. Marsha's going to own in on owning your story, standing on top of it, using that to branch out. We're going to have celebrity guest speakers that provide a ton of value. It's so much fun. It's what I look forward to every single week, and I have hours tonight. You guys can ask us any questions in regards to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Awesome. 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 Any other questions? Don't be afraid. You can ask.
Love you, Dave. Joannica, you're on fire. You can't be stopped. Also, Mom, I love you so much. Just wanted you to know that.
I love that.
And Ma, you look great tonight. Your hair look unbelievable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. Any last thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, I want to leave everyone with this. Two things. Number one, what happens if you don't take action? And number two, why not you? And if you have a good answer for that, I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to convince you as to why it should be you, why this is your time, this is your moment, and why the world is yours. Mm-hmm. But you have to decide that you want that. We can't do that for you. No. We can only help facilitate it and give you all the support that you need. But ultimately, every human being here has to make that decision that you want to create some change. And it takes a lot of courage to do so.
It does. And when you decide that you want it, whatever that is, okay? You've heard the quote, right? The universe will meet you. I wrote it today. I forgot what it is. But when you make a decision, the universe will throw some things at you that are opportunities you can't even imagine. You're thinking of what it is that you want to create or what you want to do. Sometimes by making that decision to, whether it's this program, it's something else, it's something that's going to get you into action, it can open up in beautiful ways more than you could have ever imagined. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue, but it's waiting for you to get into action.
But you'll never know unless you take that shot. So we'll leave you guys with that. We always want to leave you having more. We love you guys. Kick butt today. Sharpen the axe. Set yourself up for the future. And hopefully the momentum that we provided here today will strike a chord. Whether we do anything together or not, we just want you all to fly and all to step into your vision and find happiness, find fulfillment, make a mark on this world. And again, why not you? We love all of you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can reach out to either of us. I put the link for the mastermind is in here. If you want to discuss anything about it, please message either of us and we will definitely jump on a call to answer some questions for you. But that's the link that's in the chat. And if you have any other questions, reach out to us. But we are here to serve you. And I'm telling you right now, massive transformations are going to happen from this mastermind.
So go on, guys. Get out of here and go make yourselves proud today.
I love it. I love it.
Love you guys.
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Love you guys.
Thanks. Love you.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Dawn.
Do we just stop?
Yeah, I guess let's just stop the recording, right?
Yeah, I stopped.
Bye, everyone.